Okay, you ready to start? All right.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome to episode 6 of Nets World. I'm Matt. I'm also joined by Cole, Josh, and Ben. Max isn't here this week.
So I'm replacing him this week.
So today is NBA trade deadline. Nets didn't do much. And that's kind of expected. I don't think any of us really expected them to make a trade. We're just waiting on the buyout market at this point. So you guys have any players in mind you think we may sign the buyout market?
I mean, you want to go with the obvious one or not?
I mean, obvious, like you want Drummond or Aldridge or
Drummond's
something
obvious.
like that. But we don't know how realistic that is.
Yeah, I was expecting either nothing at all or a crazy like Dinwiddie trade or something like that. I'm personally happy that he didn't get traded, even if he doesn't play again for us. I just don't think it was right. We would have gave him to another team, and then maybe he comes back, hurts us in the playoffs. I didn't want to see him leave. I like the guy too much, honestly, but I I don't know. I don't even know who's a free agent right now. That's a big. I mean, I personally don't think Drummond will work as well as we think. I personally don't want him, but I want to see Claxton. I really want to see him. I know he has a short amount of time, and I don't want to ask too much of the guy, but you never know. He could be a crucial part of the playoff push, like in going to the finals. I think he could do it. It's going to be tough, but we'll see what happens in the next 20 games or however left we have. So maybe Claxton is just the guy, and we're just not. We think that he's just not ready, but he is. So we'll see. I'll trust him for right now. I personally trust him for right now, but yeah.
Then again, anyone besides DeAndre Jordan is good.
Yeah. DeAndre Jordan's kind of weird. It's because we're kind of forced to play him, even though we'd probably be better if we didn't. There's better options available, but we're probably not going to sign those options because of DeAndre Jordan. So he's just kind of there, and we're forced to play him.
He's like when you do a town basketball and the coach's son is on the team, but he's like not very good, and you kind of just have him like, "Hey, good job, buddy." But then like I've said in the past, other games he's like unbelievable sometimes, and it's like, where are you getting this energy and effort? Because like that's all like he misses, and then other games he's kind of like the one guy that's like putting us down. I hate to say it, but he's kind of just putting us down. Not even offensively, because we know Harden could just throw him lobs and that's no problem. But
yeah, he's
it's
fine
defensively.
Yeah, he can still grab a lob. It's just on the defensive end, he's killing us on that part of the floor.
And Claxton's amazing.
He's a good defensive player.
Yeah, he's amazing overall, but defensively,
he can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah, totally.
And clamping up Lillard that game against Portland.
Yeah. And Jarrett could do the same thing, but I'll be honest, Claxton might be a bit. No, this is what I'm gonna say. Jarrett Allen could defend the shooters better. Claxton could stay with the dribble. Is what I mean. Like if Lillard wants to pull up or he wants to drive, Claxton makes it hard. Whoever that is, Claxton makes it hard. But Jarrett Allen's just length and timing could really block or alter the shots. But Claxton is just so quick laterally, so he's so valuable on the defensive end, and I love to see it. I know every Nets fan loves to see it. It's really great to watch. How old is he?
He's probably 21.
Like 22, yeah, 21, 22.
So
Leo
young.
in the chat says we should have Blake Griffin play the center.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No.
Okay.
He's shown some effort, signs of life since joining the Nets, but
in his first game, didn't he have like 2 points?
Yeah, but he didn't shoot. He didn't want to shoot.
Yeah.
He's been hesitating a lot on that part of the.
He got like 8 or 9 or something the other night, which was nice.
Well, you got to remember something. I believe he wasn't really playing when he was like for like the last month when he was with Detroit. So he's getting back.
Yeah,
he'll take
him some time.
He's just bench depth. That's what he is. He's not what he once was. We understand that, but he's bench depth, and for the Nets, that's good.
Yeah.
I was very happy on how he looks happy. He looks at least satisfied for right now. He's giving the effort and he's buying in how Harden did when he first traded, which was my big thing. Was like, hey, is this guy gonna really try? Is he gonna adjust to the role? And Blake Griffin immediately did that. Even if he's not having eye-popping stats, he's not doing bad at all. I'm happy,
I mean,
especially
let's be honest. He
defensively.
only played 2 games, so you can't really.
Yeah, it's a small
judge it.
sample size. Yeah, so I could be wrong and he could be horrible next week, but I don't think he will be. I think he's giving his effort and defensively actually is kind of impressing me right now. So
Leo also said, "What's the Nets starting lineup again?" So, what do you think their lineup's going to be going forward?
starting lineup or just
starting
Durant,
lineup
with Durant or not?
Let's do without Durant for now, so we don't know when
Okay.
he's going to be back. So it's obviously Irving, Harden, Joe Harris. Then
Jeff
I'd probably
Green.
start Jeff Green and Claxton. I think that's the
Yeah,
lineup for now.
that seems like a good lineup. Maybe Brown could be in there, but either or, Brown or Green, honestly.
I feel like Joe should be on the bench, and I've said this a lot in the past. You guys know.
You said James Harden should be on the bench.
I said that was a hot take. Okay, I was just trying to mix it up a bit and say, hey, you never know, but no, that's not gonna happen. But no, I mean it really does depend on who you're versing, but Bruce Brown starting is just so impactful. If Harden and Kyrie have a great start, Claxton just gets some boards, plays some defense. Jeff Green just does his thing, moving the ball, spreading the floor, and Bruce Brown gives some effort defensively. The Nets could be up 20-5 in the first quarter, almost every game. Like his impact is just so great that I think you have to start him. I think it's stupid to not start him.
I think part of the reason why the Nets are good, obviously, but have you ever realized that the Nets usually get off to slow starts like every game? They're always like down by 10, maybe 5-10.
And
I think it's because
they pick
it's
it up.
Jordan. That's why. That's
and then Max always goes, "The game's over. The game's over."
And that's a good point too. That's a good point because maybe I am wrong, and maybe Claxton starting instead of DeAndre should put Brown on the bench because maybe we don't need him in the starting lineup, but he's obviously impactful and very good for us in the starting lineup. Especially with Harden.
Okay, I was gonna say. So we talk about this team, and this defense has gotten a lot better since the start when we got Harden. Obviously, we traded away Jared Allen, but now we got Claxton back and we got Griffin now, and the defense looks a lot better than it did. Am I wrong?
We're still 25th ranked in defense, but it has looked a lot better. I think we were 30th.
It was the worst. It was the worst in the league at one point, and now obviously it's improvement. So you gotta take what you can get.
I checked a week or two ago. I checked what our defensive rating was for the past 15 games on our little streak that we had. I believe it was 12th defensive rating or 15th, somewhere in the middle of the pack, which is not the best, but it worked and they got wins without Kevin Durant.
And so some games without Kyrie.
Yeah, because it's every other game is like kind of 2-1, maybe all three, but usually never. But yeah, that is nice to see, and I think we all figured that it was gonna improve eventually, just with chemistry, And
we don't need to be We don't need to be a great defensive team. We just need to be good enough.
We just need to be average.
You get the stops, and you get the run that you need to do, and that will take the game over. You don't need to be this lockdown defensive team. Which I would love to see, but it's not going to happen. Not going to happen this year.
That's for sure.
And my whole viewpoint is once you get to the playoffs, the defensive intensity already goes up. It's just the Nets, their offense single-handedly will be able to carry them. So if it's just confident defensively, they're going to be fine.
I'm a little nervous about Harden in the playoffs, though. I'm going to be honest.
Well,
I am.
Different. It's a little different. Then he had to do everything. He had to score. He had to play make. He had to carry the team on his back. Basically.
But it's not like he didn't have shooters in Chris Paul, is what I'm saying. I'm just saying, is he gonna fall to the pressure? Maybe is the no fans or little fans gonna be a factor too? I don't know. I'm just saying I'm cautious. I'm not saying he's gonna be bad, but he always is a little worse in the playoffs. Clearly. But
let's be real. Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul are not KD and Kyrie.
no, yeah,
Assuming
you're
KD
right.
plays.
Yeah, you're
Look,
right.
KD and Kyrie are both champions. You got to realize something. They bring some championship like gratitude. No, that's not the right word. But championship like an aspect to this team that if it was just Harden, it wouldn't be. But the fact that the two of them have won championships, KD 2, Kyrie 1, and obviously you can say whatever you want about those championships. They won championships. They know how to lead this team, and at the end of the day, as great as Harden is, he's not necessarily the leader. So yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a good point. I agree. It's just I hope he could figure out his role a little differently, almost in the playoffs. It might be different than the regular season of him dribble. Let me do this, blah blah blah. It's fancy. It could be him kind of remember the Magic game where in the first few weeks where he's like kind of sitting back, but he's doing nice plays.
Yeah,
You know,
he didn't want to shoot at all.
Yeah,
Was that
maybe
his
he
first
does
game?
that. Yeah,
I think that was his first. Yeah.
no home against Magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe his role changes in the playoffs. We'll see. It's gonna be fun though either way.
Yeah,
And
I don't
like
know
you
if
said,
I necessarily want him shooting a lot. I mean, he needs to get his points. Obviously, he can't be passive like he was early in the season. But
but that's the thing. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to
He doesn't-
shoot.
yeah,
Yeah, he could change his role a bit for playoffs. And like you said, Kyrie and KD.
they're more efficient than Harden.
Yeah, and yeah, they've won
At
championships.
least
They're
scoring.
really good. But yeah, they both Kyrie and KD, especially KD, do better. I feel like in the playoffs, or if not the same. So. Yeah, I'm not too concerned, but I'm just wondering if it will be like his time in Houston, the same, regular season, the playoff stats. We'll see though.
You can't tell that now. That's not something
Yeah,
you can
true.
predict. One thing I'm seeing in the comments right now that Jabari Parker was bought out, so they're asking if the Nets should pursue him. So I'm going to ask that question: should the Nets pursue Jabari Parker if he got bought out? So
Hell no.
I forgot he was a player.
I didn't even know.
All
he
due
was
what team
back.
is he on? What team was he on? Was
He's
he
on
on
the Kings.
Sacramento? Yeah.
I think we're fine with the team we have now. We just need like little upgrades. Like it's said, like a JaVale McGee would have been perfect. Unfortunately, the Nuggets had to acquire him. So
Yeah, I didn't realize he got.
I really don't know. I really don't know who's available at this point. Outside of like Drummond and Aldridge, I really don't know who's available, like for the center spot.
No one much.
Steve Nash is gonna suit up one game. I'm telling you, he's just gonna go in.
At least last night he should have, because
Yeah.
I mean that was just painful.
Oh. I don't know. I think I'm saying his name right. Alize Johnson.
Alize Johnson.
Alize. Okay.
Yeah, the Lamar Jackson lookalike.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. So Johnson.
He looked great yesterday.
Yeah. So
Even
what
though
do
he
you think
got blown
about
out by 30.
him?
I mean, he was the only one scoring.
He still looked good for a 10-day deal. I mean,
and how does he fit in the rotation then?
You can't tell that. I mean, last night was so much of an anomaly that you can't even compare it to the rest of the season.
Let's just say he's a solid, like a 10 points per game, a little less. Like he gives some energy out the bench. Could he take TLC's minutes?
TLC,
I don't know.
Why not?
I was disappointed. I know yesterday, they didn't have expectations yesterday, the Nets, but I was still disappointed in TLC yesterday. He was terrible yesterday.
Most inconsistent player on the team by far.
I don't even remember the last time he had a good game.
The last game. The last game. He actually did kind of have a nice game.
Well, I remember he missed like 3 wide open threes. I know it's like whatever, but still, he needs to. If he's not hitting his shots, like what does he do?
Yeah, you said that to us yesterday. That's a good point. He doesn't bring much besides just shooting and, driving once in a while. But
so yesterday he was 5 of 17 from the field, 2 of 9 from 3.
Those are Justin Anderson numbers. No,
remember when he went over 13 in the bubble from 3 in that one game.
bubble Nets.
It's
Right,
so
that's-
sad that like most of that team's already gone.
Yeah,
Except for TLC.
she's had a good
And
game. Though.
Harris, but then
He got injured, didn't he? I think he got injured.
no, he left the bubble for like
Mom.
a personal.
Oh, yeah,
Mom
that's-
died. Yeah, that was
And
sad.
then we thought he was done. At least I thought he was done with the Nets because I didn't think they were going to re-sign him, but they did. So that was good.
If the Nets did not re-sign him, we would not win a championship. That's just my opinion. He's too valuable.
He's very valuable.
They would have to pick up someone like him at least.
Like JJ Redick.
Yeah.
So
I'm
when
happy. I'm happy
We
we're
get
not, we're not getting JJ. I don't think we need him.
Yeah.
I don't want him. I don't really like him. I did not want him.
So in the chat, Brig Brother Spoilers had a few questions. His first one was, what is the top position the Nets need? Is it a backup ball handler, a center, a 3-and-D wing? I think that's obvious. It's a
It's
center.
the center.
And he also said Vincent Poirier and Mifandou Kabengele
Oh, you said that. That was
were
good.
both waived today. Both decent centers. How about them? Should the Nets maybe look at them? Those two
No.
guys.
Hey, whatever Sean Marks does, I'm gonna roll with it. He could do what he wants. I don't have one player in mind that I really am pleading for at this point. It's okay. I did like McGee. That would have been nice, to be honest, like you said, Matt. But yeah, Nuggets got him, so it's whatever. Move on.
I think Mark's he really didn't care about the deadline, it seemed like.
Yeah,
But
he was-
We'll see
I
what he
think-
does in buyouts.
And I don't think the Nets were reaching out to trade Dinwiddie. I think they were
They
just
didn't need to.
listening. They were just listening to the calls by whoever, and he got Oladipo, so they were like, "Okay, we don't want Dinwiddie." And then I don't know who else wanted him. It was a lot of teams, but clearly it wasn't good enough for Dinwiddie, and he's not stupid. So
I think with Dinwiddie, though, I don't know how much the market was because of the fact that he might not stay, and then the also fact that he probably won't play this year, and he's off an ACL, I think, tear, not a full tear, but he's off an ACL tear. That's not no injury that you could just come up, and obviously with KD, but that was an Achilles, it's different. But the fact is, an ACL is not an easy injury to recover from. It's not.
Yeah, and I think people are like, some Nets fans for some reason, they're just expecting Dinwiddie just to come back in the playoffs immediately and perform for the Nets. They're not going to throw him out there in the playoffs since he's been out for the entire season. I wouldn't do that.
I think he can. I think he will be
It'd be
able
later
to,
in the
but they
playoffs,
won't.
though.
But they won't do
won't.
it, and I don't think he will agree to do it either. Because they're
He'll
very
just be
careful.
he'll just stay on the road base, and not on the road, but like just almost like stay on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
Just be here.
it wouldn't be good anyway because then you'd have to kind of redo the whole team and like the lineups. That we don't have enough time for that. Like honestly, it wouldn't be good in the end. We'll talk about this later on, but I think he will resign.
You really think he's going to resign?
I have
I think
this
it's very
feeling.
possible.
I think he will. I do not think he will leave Brooklyn. I just don't think. If anything, he might chase the bag. And that's okay. But he will not go to like a contender and just leave us. He will
No.
go to like a horrible team and get the bag, or
He'll
will
go
stay.
to Detroit and be the starter there.
No,
He wants to be in
seriously.
Detroit.
No,
That is true.
Hell no.
But
I think he will sign, but we'll see what happens in the next few
The
months.
thing with
I love
Dinwiddie is,
Dinwiddie to say.
yeah, even if he is fully healthy, like how does he fit on this team? He's not good playing off the ball. He can't shoot that well. He's good with the ball in his hands, obviously, but that's going to be hard in going forward. So I really we saw earlier in the season, he didn't look that great, even though it was
He
only
only
like
played 3 games.
3 games, but still, he didn't look that great in those 3 games. So
And the third game where he got hurt, he played like 2 minutes.
yeah.
So it's really 2 games.
But still, I just don't know how he fits on this team if he did want to stay long term.
I don't think it'll be long term. I don't know if he might opt out and then just sign like a 1-year deal if the market isn't out there for him. Because who knows? I mean, with him, he could get as much money as he wants, or he can get nothing. You don't know what teams are interested in him because of the fact that there's a lot of question marks.
Isn't he? Doesn't he like? Wouldn't he opt out of his deal? The Nets. Didn't I hear something about that? Like he plans to opt out.
You would know better
Josh,
than
you know
me.
anything about that?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. That was a report.
Yeah, I think he's going to opt out and he's going to try to get a bigger contract in free agency.
I say give him a chance. This is why I didn't want to trade him. I still have a feeling he will resign even if he opts out.
If he didn't get injured, he'd be in Houston or Cleveland or.
Oh yeah, for sure. Levert's on this team if he doesn't get hurt.
Mhm.
And I
That's
mean,
the
it
only
might have
reason why
saved
he's on
Levert's
the team.
life, but yeah, you think about it.
Oh, all right. Big Brother spoilers listed off a bunch of names.
Oh.
Jordan Bell. I don't think so.
No,
Damari Carroll.
I would
No,
want to bring Carroll back, but nah.
Tyson Chandler. He's too old. Dwayne Dedman. That's not too bad, but
No.
He hasn't played in forever.
yeah.
I just want Dudley, man. Man,
Didn't he
I
like
would
tear his ACL or
have
something?
his MCL. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Damn, man. But anyway, keep going.
There's you said Mario Hazonia. We don't need Mario Hazonia.
Come on, man.
Michael Kidd Gilchrist. No.
Stop.
It's good for
Stop.
defense.
These are like
Former Knicks.
this is like NBA 2K, like when you get the free agents at the end of the My League season. Like, nah, we're not. I don't. The only one that I'll agree with this Deadman sounds pretty good, but I think you would want more
Thon
money.
Maker. How about Thon Maker?
No reason to get him. No reason.
Just want a 7-footer for no reason. Sure.
Norvell Pell. Nah, he wasn't that good when he was with the. I mean, they didn't.
Oh yeah, he
really
was
play.
on the
He didn't
team.
play.
They didn't play, but it's
It
like
wasn't bad.
Andre
Okay.
Roberson. He was bad with the Nets. Andre Roberson looked bad.
Man, he fell off.
And Shumpert was.
Shumpert was just the friend that just decided to hop on for a little bit.
I think he's Kyrie's friend.
Is
That's-
Shumpert the
Yeah.
Theo? Well, he's not on the team, but would he be the Theo Pinson of this team?
Yes. And they're both great, but they're not the best players right
They're
now.
not court players; they're bench players, meaning they hype up the bench. That's
They're
what they do.
team
That's their
spirit.
role.
Yeah.
Bring back Musa. He said, "Bring back Musa."
Yes. Yes. No,
He's already out of the league.
I
Musas.
actually liked Musa. Even
did?
though he was the worst player on the team easily, I actually liked him.
He had Jordan's confidence, but he couldn't make any shots.
He was a good teammate though. He was really into. I feel like he just likes the game a lot. I like the guy. I also miss Kuruks so much.
He was
good that year, and then he just fell off his feet.
I just think he didn't get the opportunity
He
that
didn't get
Kenny
playing
gave
time.
him. If Kenny was a coach, I think he'd get more. And
Well, everyone agrees that Kenny was fired wrongly, or he was let go. They didn't really fire him.
Yeah.
They mutually, but everyone knew.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
probably fired him.
That's kicked him out of there.
Katie
but-
probably said, "We need to let this guy go." That's probably what happened, but that's never going to come out. So
Yeah, of course not.
it was a weird letting go of
well,
it.
that was just it was a weird season last year. I know there's the whole like bubble thing, but even the Nets like
it was a totally different team from the end of when quarantine happened to the bubble. Like the team was totally different, and it had nothing to do with the Nets making really moves. It had to do with the fact that everyone was opting out or getting COVID, and the team was. I mean, no one expected the Nets to go far in the bubble. And look, I mean, we talk about it. The bubble was a success for the Nets because
just think of
well,
this.
somewhat.
Remember during the bubble, during the playoff game, you know how like TNT or ESPN like shows little graphics of like upcoming games. I just remember TLC. That was the Nets' best player in the bubble.
Yeah.
TLC.
It was Levert, but then again,
Nah, TLC. He was the best.
Bubble
Nah,
TLC was good. I wish we still had bubble TLC.
maybe we'll get that in the playoffs.
Imagine, yeah, he's the Finals MVP. Yeah, last year was weird. They pretty much had the Kyrie team, the Dinwiddie team, and like the bubble Levert team. It was just strange.
It's like three different seasons.
Yeah.
Things in one.
It was just weird.
Well, Kyrie played 20 games last year. With Kyrie, it was like
It was unbelievable,
stop and
though.
start, and then just bang, he was out.
Man, he was unbelievable though. Even
Yeah.
the short time.
Kyrie was honestly, I think he may have been better last. I mean, he's been great this season, obviously, but last year he was just some of those games he
In his
had were just
bag.
insane.
I
Well,
went to
then
the
again,
Bulls
Kyrie
game.
was the number one option last year. He's not the number
Yeah,
one.
it's just
option now.
that game against the Bulls, 19 of 23 from the field, he had like 54 points.
Dude,
That's just,
I am the luckiest guy that I just happened to go to a game, and that was the game that I got. It's just Kyrie popping off on the Bulls. That was so fun to watch. Seriously.
I mean,
Um,
his first game of the Nets, I know they lost, but he had 50.
It was a
I was
heartbreaker, but it
so
was a.
pissed when they lost.
I was
Oh.
very upset that night too.
I wasn't even mad about the loss. I was mad the fact that like he missed that shot because I was like,
Didn't
dude,
he
if he made
fall
that,
down and
dude,
then
if
he
he
got
made
back up
that,
and put the shot up?
that's like one of the
But
best. That's like a NCAA like game winner, like kind
That
of
probably
like.
would have been one of the best game winners of all time.
I know. I was. It wasn't even like he missed badly. It wasn't. He went a little
hit the
to the
rim.
right. Yeah, he went a little bit to the right. I remember, and I was like, oh. But yeah.
That's the thing. These guys keep you in games. I know they really haven't hit I mean, Kyrie's hit a few game-winning shots, but KD really hasn't. Because I mean, this year at least, the Nets are blowing teams out. But when they go into the late game situation, it's not usually like guys hitting game-winning shots. They usually separate themselves. But
they close it out. They hit daggers.
They got the guys, except the Charlotte game that they lost, like the third game of the year, where they both missed. Oh, that was the Washington
game against the Wizards. Where
that was Washington.
Durant,
I think they missed
against,
they missed against Charlotte too, right?
Yeah.
But they got the guys to hit the game.
Anyone that's not good, we did bad against. That's just all you need to know. That's literally it.
Like the Magic. We had to lose the Magic. Then they just trade off everything. Again, it doesn't matter. It's like pointless.
It's just annoying. Yeah.
It's just annoying.
And that, let's be honest here, the Nets don't really care. I mean, it's horrible to say, but they don't really care that much about what's happening right now. They care about what's happening after the regular season and in the playoffs. That's when things are going to matter more. And I hate to say that just because of the fact that it's not good for the game of basketball necessarily, but for the team itself. Obviously, we say KD's hurt, but I would say they're milking it a little bit, and they're just taking him really easy and really slow just because they don't need him right now.
They still want to form that chemistry. You don't want him just first game back, his first game of the playoffs.
Obviously, but he'll be back before then, I have a feeling, right? You got to think.
I just wish they would tell us stuff. They don't tell us. It's supposed to be 2 games. He's been out for over a month.
They make it seem like it's a nothing injury, and it just lags and lags on.
Well, they said Kyrie will be out the next, 1 to 3 games?
Yeah, but that's
okay. Yeah,
that's
different. Then yeah, I know. I'm just saying. So that's the next 3 games without Kyrie. Harden might not play tomorrow, and KD. What they said a week ago or 5 days ago.
I think, right? Who are they playing tomorrow?
Pistons.
Oh,
We're playing all bad teams the next.
Oh God.
8 games or so, and then we hit the Lakers.
Well, we're gonna lose all those games.
Yeah, no.
Playing the Pistons, the Timberwolves, the Rockets.
Oh man.
It's our next 3. They should win all 3 of those.
Yeah, but they're not going to.
Yeah. Then they play the Hornets. The Hornets they're decent, but they could.
Well, they don't have LaMelo right now because he's hurt. He's done for the year.
Scary Terry.
Then they're gonna play the Bulls in Chicago. So Vucevic is gonna.
Well, they're a playoff team right now.
We thought we were only gonna see him a few times, and now we're gonna see him 6 times or 7 times because we haven't played the Bulls yet. I don't think. Yeah.
Then it's the Knicks, then the Pelicans. So during that stretch, it's the Pistons, Timberwolves, Rockets, Hornets, Bulls, Knicks, Pelicans. Then it's that game against the Lakers. So. Oof. They should honestly win all of them if they're fully
even the Lakers game because LeBron and AD are not.
That game's
playing
on April 10th. Yeah, they're not going to be ready.
They might by then. They might, but
LeBron maybe. I don't know about Davis because they're going to be if he just
I mean,
one wrong move, he's
we
gonna
talk about the Lakers.
pop an Achilles. So they're gonna be ultra cautious with Davis.
I think Ben's
But
breaking
the
up.
LeBron injury looked scary. It looked really bad.
Yeah, but if I were the Lakers, I'd be more nervous about Davis because he had the
They
same
were
injury
lucky
that
last year that he didn't.
that Durant had.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I want it to be easier for them, but no, I don't think anyone wants to see the Lakers duo to be injured like that. Sucks for
I
them.
don't want a cakewalk to the finals. I want to
No,
have
I'm not,
like
yeah. I
actual
mean, I
competition.
know, but
It'd be a better like feeling if they got through all these teams. And
well, you know what's gonna happen. Let's say we beat LeBron, Lakers, stacked team, blah 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 blah. And if we lose, haha, they weren't good. They all suck, blah blah blah. I don't know. It's like I don't know. Do you think the Nets are
Can you hear
hated
me?
more?
Yep,
Yeah, you're just
No.
lagging a bit.
just lagging a bit.
Yeah. Do you think the Nets are more of the bad guy of the league, or do you think the Clippers are more of the bad guy of the league?
The Nets.
Nets.
Really?
Yeah,
Clippers.
I'm gonna say
For sure the
Clippers
Clippers.
too.
that trade they made today, Rondo for Lou Williams. I mean, Rondo's a good
What-
pickup for them, but
That was
What a
stupid.
dumb trade.
is he
It's
really worth Lou Williams?
no. I saw that trade and I was
And they
very
gave up
confused.
2 second-round picks too. They just
I thought it was gonna say Rondo to the Clippers for like Luke
a
Kennard.
second-round pick.
Like Luke Kennard, or is it? Yeah, he's on the Clippers. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be that or Batum or something. I don't know, but like Lou Williams, the sixth man of the year. Like, wow, okay.
That was the Sammy trade, right?
They really wanted a point guard that bad, huh?
they don't have anyone to facilitate. It's just like
Yeah.
Kawhi and Paul. I mean, obviously they're great players, but they're not playmakers.
Because Beverly's not like
And Reggie Jackson's not a
Beverly's
playmaker.
not like a
Yeah.
playmaker. He's a defensive stud.
Mhm. Well,
So
it's debatable.
yeah. So in the chat, Big Brother Spoilers also said, "How long will Landry Shamet be out?" I have no
Too
idea.
long.
Probably a week, maybe. Say at most, maybe another week
Another,
or two.
I would say another 2 weeks. It looked bad in my opinion, but
It looked a lot worse than just a week, but who knows?
See, when he originally came down, he saw him grabbing around his Achilles area, and I'm like, "Oh crap!"
Mhm.
But luckily, the Nets got lucky. It was only what was it, ankle sprain? Is that what it was?
yeah,
Mhm.
I think it was a high ankle sprain. It looked painful though. Like seeing it in slow motion, and like I feel like he almost could have broken a leg or something. Like the way it, like the ankle, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It just did not look good. So I'm hoping it's not as bad as we think. But yeah, definitely at least another week or two at least.
Big Brother Spoilers also said, "Why do you think Joe played the first 5 minutes and then sat out the rest of the game? Should have not
Was his
played at
last
all if it's only going to play 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it was just a test for
Test to see if they can compete, maybe."
yeah. Also to play some guys like Steve Nash wanted to see Gio's out there, Perry, TLC, Johnson, the other Johnson, the new one. Just a bunch of those guys and see what they could work with. Maybe figure out the rotation a bit. I thought it was smart. I would have done the same thing. You didn't need Joe. Joe could have taken pretty much a day off. I don't think it was a bad move. I like that. And we got to see the new kid
Johnson.
actually do really good. Yeah, he's got that floater game. He really does. I don't think that was a fluke. I think that was him. Like consistently, he could do that.
Well, then again, he's not scoring 24 points every night.
No, yeah,
Spoiler
but he
alert.
does.
Obviously.
But he does have that skill set in his bag. He does have that skill.
They look much better
For
than the
sure.
other 10-day deals they signed. Like
Yeah.
Roberson was terrible, Shumpert terrible.
Well, I
the
believe
Tyler Cook
Roberson
guy,
and
like-
Shumpert were originally not 10 days.
Yeah,
They were originally regular contracts, and then they waived them.
oh yeah, and then they became 10-day, but still they weren't that good. These actually looks pretty decent for one out of the 10 days they've signed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, what do you think's the Nets' toughest toughest competition in the East? Considering Philadelphia and Miami both didn't trade for Lowry, who do you think's the Nets' toughest competition in the East right now?
It's the Sixers or the Bucks.
Sixers, yeah. I'm more afraid of the Sixers, honestly. It's their defense. I mean, they're just not, even without Embiid, they're not losing games. So
No, they're winning. They can't lose right now. It's ridiculous. They're literally not losing, and they're a tough team to beat. And the Nets, that's going to probably be one of their biggest challenges, as well as the Bucks with Giannis. Like, how can you stop Giannis?
as of right now, the Nets have fallen to the third seed right now.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
and again,
They
it doesn't
basically
matter.
gave up 2 games.
Yeah, I know, but still, it'd be
I
nice to
think
see the
at least
Nets
one.
in first place.
I think that I would say the Sixers are more of a threat, and I'm only saying this because the Bucks in the playoffs, same thing with the Sixers kind of, but the 76ers have gotten close way more. The Bucks are always a what if in the playoffs, especially Giannis. It's always okay, they're the best in the league this year or the best in the East. Let's see what happens. And then Giannis can't close out. They they lose to a better team. They're just not good enough. I don't know what it is. They never really show up in the playoffs. I'm not too worried about the Bucks. Their team did get better, but 76ers with the addition of George Hill now, who's a really good vet, scorer, play make off the bench, you know, they're definitely surprisingly uh more of a threat in my opinion. I thought they weren't going to be that good this year, but
Well,
they did.
yeah, they got
They put it together. They really
and
did.
Doc
It's better
Rivers. If
fit.
you have Doc Rivers, I mean, come on, he's one of the best coaches in basketball.
And they got
They just didn't have any good fit last year. They had Horford and Embiid playing at the same time. They had Josh Richardson as their primary scorer in a way, kind of like outside threat. They just
now they have Harris is
they have
popping
shooting.
off.
They have really good shooting.
Seth Curry, Danny Green.
Well, Seth
Yeah,
Curry
just-
was a huge pickup. Danny Green was as well. Tobias, he's put it together as last year. He had a tough year. They're a tough team. And I have to correct you on one thing, Cole. The Bucks have gone farther in the last few years than the Sixers. But then again, because the Bucks, remember when they both lost to Kawhi and the Raptors. But when the Bucks, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Because I think the Bucks have been like the favorites the last 2 years.
You're right,
East.
but yeah, my point is the Bucks are always supposed to go far.
No, they're supposed to go farther than they do.
Yeah, and also the Bucks had a worse playoff series than the Sixers against the
Yeah, for
Raptors.
sure.
The 76ers were supposed to win that game, and I'm not even talking about the last shot that people, lucky, whatever.
Jimmy
They were
Butler
closer.
had a great game that night.
Yeah.
He's no
The
longer
Bucks
there.
had no
He had a great
chance.
game.
Giannis just can't. Is not that he's
Teams
not
just
good
start
enough.
they just let him shoot in the playoffs. And Giannis, he just obviously can't shoot that well. So
He's working on it, though, that's for sure. But then again, same with Ben Simmons. He's working on his shot, but, I mean, they're still not good shooters in any stretch. And the one thing the Nets have over all those teams is better shooters. It's the fact. They have better shooters than everyone. Let's be honest. The Nets have 3 elite shooters in Durant, Kyrie, and Harden. And then you got
and Joe Harris.
and Joe Harris. I was about to say Joe Harris. Yes, they're elite. I mean, from 3, obviously the Nets have the kind of the older I wouldn't say the older Rockets look, but the Nets. Kyrie does take some mid range, but everyone else is 3 or layups. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
they also have that champion. They have players with championship DNA, so that's going to be a major factor and major advantage for us, obviously. So. But I'm just looking at the rest of the East right now. I mean, the East is just terrible. The Hornets are the 4th seed right now. There's 7-game lead over the Hornets. The Heat are probably going to start turning it around.
They'll be the 4.
the Heat.
The
Then it's
interesting thing is the play-in round or whatever it is, because we think the Celtics may be in there, the Knicks may be in there, Chicago, who knows? I mean, some of these teams are obviously going to get into the top 6, but I mean, the
Oh, what
4
about-
teams could be.
So what do you think the top 6 is going to be? Like, you have to rank 1 through 6. Who do you think ends up as the first seed? Do you think it's going to be the Sixers probably?
It'll be the Sixers.
I think the Nets will end up being number 2.
Bucks 3.
Bucks 3. 4 will
Or
probably be
Heat.
the
Miami.
I think
then-
the Hawks could be 5.
Honestly, yeah.
It's after the Heat. It's the Knicks, the Hawks, the Celtics, the Pacers, the Bulls, and the Raptors. So it's kind of difficult. 5 and 6.
I mean, I think out of right now, and obviously the Celtics, if they put it together, they'll be 5 probably. But the Hawks, it has to be the Hawks at this point,
They've been doing better. They've been doing a lot better recently too.
and they upgraded with Lou Williams today. So.
Do you think the Bulls could potentially go on a little streak? Or do you
I
think
think
you're
it'll
kind
be
of
a playoff
overrating
team.
the Vucevic signing? I mean, trade. Or do you think that's a little?
I thought they're not ready yet. As a team, I just don't feel they're ready yet to make it to really the playoffs. They're not like that. Like, you look at their roster and it's not like anything crazy. I mean, obviously they got Vucevic and Zach LaVine, and those are great players. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, compared to the rest of the East, I mean, obviously it's very. I mean, the East is the easier conference by like 100 times.
There's only like 3, maybe 4. There's only like 4 real teams in the East right now.
Let's be honest, the Nets would be like a 6 or a 7 seed. Well, not okay. They'll be like a 4 or 5 seed in the West.
The West.
The fact. But they don't. But the thing about the Nets is they don't need to be a number 1 seed. They don't really even need to be a number 2 seed. They need to get in, and it seems like at this point they're going to get in. So honestly, as long as they get in, right now, just honestly get the best seed you can, but don't like go crazy over anything. Just honestly, I know there's like a lot left of the season, about a third, but you can't go crazy over the regular season right now. It's not. I mean, and this team, and obviously other teams, yes, the regular season is more important, but for us, it's.
I like what you said about the Bulls. I don't think they'll make playoffs this year. They also traded away a lot of their depth. They traded Wendell Carter Jr., Daniel Gafford, and I'm forgetting another person, but
Yeah,
They
Otto
traded-
Porter.
Otto Porter. Yeah, so
He could be a buyout candidate, maybe. The Magic. That'd be a good pickup.
didn't we want to give him like a max
Yeah,
contract?
I remember. It was
Him and
like-
Tyler,
years, 100
Johnson,
yeah,
and look, Mark's got Johnson.
I remember Alan Crabb. He gave that contract to Alan Crabb and he
I-
traded for him.
Alan
The year
Crabbe is my
after.
least favorite net of all time. I think I hate.
Let's
Alan
put it this
Crabb.
way.
I really do.
Marks is a lot better at giving KD, Kyrie, and even Harden big contracts than giving these
Just
guys.
imagine
big
imagine if we got those guys like Tyler
contracts.
Johnson.
We'd be screwed. We'd be screwed.
Yeah.
We'd be the best.
KD, Kyrie, and Harden wouldn't be here right now. I promise you that. So thank you, Miami.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Big Brother spoilers. He also said
Says a
Jeff
lot.
Teague will be bought out probably. We don't need Jeff
Nope.
Teague.
Nope.
Why?
I'm okay.
How about, do you think James Johnson? I saw you got traded to the Pelicans. Do you think the Pelicans may buy him out or release him?
You
I
could
don't.
use them.
Where are the Pelicans right now in the standings? I don't really know. Are they like in contention?
They're 11. They're the 11th seed right now. They're 4 games out of the 8th spot. So I don't see them.
They'll
Taking
get
a
into
fall.
the play-in, is what we're saying. They'll get into the play-in.
Maybe they'll maybe against the plan. Maybe.
I think they will.
I like
They
the
got
play-in.
Zion. I don't.
You don't?
Nah, it's just because, I mean, last year I got it. This year, I mean, look, there's 10 less games. It's not like that huge of a difference. I mean, they were looking at shortening the season anyway. Obviously, a little bit, like 4 more games than 72, but what's the big deal? I mean, honestly, there's no need for a play-in to give teams who like end the season not in the playoffs a shot. And obviously, look, it doesn't affect our team. It doesn't. It won't. But it might help the Lakers. I'll give it that. It might help the Lakers. But it'll help the Knicks. But for us, I mean, you're just giving teams chances to make the playoffs who aren't making the playoffs.
Where do you think the Lakers fall in the standings? Do you think they fall over the next few weeks in the standings?
Yeah.
Currently,
They'll fall
the
to
four.
third.
They're the 4 seed. They're 2 games
They'll fall to 6, I think.
in front of the Nuggets. The Nuggets are going to pass them in the standings.
But there's still a lot of games
sure.
left. I don't think they'll go that far down. I mean, maybe, but
The Blazers are the 6,
I mean, it
Mavericks
depends how
7,
much-
and Spurs 8.
How many? Yeah. That conference is stacked. Obviously, like you look at the top of that conference right now, and you got Phoenix, Utah, and I don't know who else is out there.
Isn't it
The
just
Clippers are
crazy
out there,
seeing
right?
Phoenix good? It's just weird.
Mhm.
Teams are afraid of the
Yeah.
Suns now.
It is weird because of the fact
And the Jazz, the
that,
number
like,
1 seed, that's
for
just,
years and like almost our whole lives they've been horrible.
Well, yeah, I'm just not surprised. I'm honestly like, I think everyone when the bubble happened and the Suns didn't get in the playoffs, but they like did really
they
well
went
in the
8 now
bubble.
in the bubble.
Yeah, I think everyone was like, they're gonna make playoffs next year, and then they got Chris Paul. It was like, yeah, they better be good. It's like, but
Expected
give
them
them
maybe as like
Yeah,
a
but no
7,
one
8
thought
seed.
they
yeah,
were
but
going
give
to
them
get 1 or
props.
2
Yeah. They're a great team.
Well, they've been hot recently. That's a fact.
Outside of the Lakers
I
and
think
the Clippers,
blowing
obviously.
that game to Harden and the Nets really scarred them.
That was
Yeah.
a great game.
Outside of the Lakers and the Clippers, obviously, who are you most afraid of in the West? Is it the Suns or the Jazz? Obviously, it'd be like a finals
Well, I'm
matchup, but it's
more
probably
afraid
not
of the
going to happen.
Jazz.
But who do you
I'm
think?
more afraid of the Jazz.
The Jazz, yeah, they look good. The Jazz, they
I'm
just they're
not.
on point. Chemistry is like at 100.
It's just Gobert.
I'm
It's
not.
Gobert more than any. It's even more than Mitchell. It's Gobert that scares me, just because of the fact that he's just bigger and he's going to grab every rebound and he's going to block a lot of shots. And he's just he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a scorer. But with us scoring, he could be a problem if it gets there. But who knows if it does?
I'm gonna say Suns just because I feel like they can be better offensively consistently. So I think it'd be harder for the Nets to defend like Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton would eat in the paint, Chris Paul of course, guys like Jay Crowder. I think they'd be more consistent offensively. So honestly, I'm more scared of them. Jazz, I'm not really worried about, even though they are doing great. We also beat them with just Kyrie back when we had Jared Allen by like 40.
Oh, yeah,
Like they just beat us by 40, but we had like no one.
I think I remember that. I think that was that game. That was like early season game. The Nets weren't looking too good. I think that's like
that was a great game.
That was
right?
Bruce Brown's
That was
first
Bruce
game.
That was his
Brown's first-
breakout game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they started him. We're like, they're starting Bruce Brown,
Yeah.
and
That's
We were
when
like,
they
who's
start.
that?
That's when Nash was
I knew
giving
they got him
Shamet
for
all of
Musa.
Bruce Brown's minutes. Even though Shamet's
gotta
played
say-
better, but he was terrible at the beginning of the season, Shamet.
I gotta say one thing: Sean Marks is masterful. That trade, especially for Bruce Brown, giving up Zana Musa. As much as we say yes, Musa, as much as you hate to say it, he isn't much for this team. And the fact of the matter is, Brown is, and Brown's been huge. It's a fact.
All right, so my computer is almost gonna die. So let me finish it off with one more question. All right, so the Nets are gonna, as we know, are gonna be 1, 2, or 3 seed most likely. Who are you most afraid of as a first round matchup? Like who, like you have no desire to face in the first round?
You want me to be real?
Oh, here we go.
The Knicks.
Oh, here we go.
The Knicks. I don't want to deal, and it has nothing to do with the fear of losing. I mean, I have a little bit, but it's just the fear of just being so annoyed by those fans about like, oh, we're gonna beat you, we're gonna beat you. Like I just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, they're gonna be extra motivated if they
I know.
faced us, the Knicks.
I don't want.
I still think we'd beat them.
Yes, but I think it would be a much tighter series than on paper it would look.
I don't want to face the Celtics. The Celtics are an 8 seed right now.
Wait, why not the Celtics? We would destroy them.
We've killed them all year.
It's just Tatum and Brown. They could just have those games where
I would say the Knicks with the fear of losing. Not that I think they're gonna lose, but it's just again annoying. But a real team I don't want to play against. This is gonna sound stupid. I'm gonna go with the Hornets.
Melo's not
Now,
playing though.
It doesn't matter. Scary Terry is just different. I just think that we'd be lazy. They would take advantage of that, and Gordon Hayward just would drop 40 for some reason. But no, they do have actually a pretty solid team for what they have. So it'd be a challenge. I do want to see the Hawks. Nets versus Hawks. So I think that would be fun.
It'd be a good series. It'd be a really good
I hope we
series.
just face the Hornets, because that'd be an easy sweep if we face the Hornets.
I mean, let's be honest. We'd rather play the. No, we won't play the Bulls because they just got Vucevic. None of these matchups are good.
Yeah, Vucevic drops 50 on us, sweeps us. But yeah.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up here. Going on for almost 52 minutes at this point. Yeah. So appreciate you guys. Good conversation. Let's do this again next week. How about that?
Yeah, and thank you guys for letting me on. I understand Max isn't here, so I think I did a good job or whatever, just filling in.
No, you did good. This was fun. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Do we just end this? We're just waiting.